Light my candles. Lori, how was your day? Sometimes people meditate and they gaze at a candle flame. Oh, I bet Bainbridge is beautiful. Hi, Laura. No. Excuse me for a moment. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I had pressed the go button, and now Nikki's here, and he doesn't know I'm on Facebook Live. So, Nikki, I'm on Facebook Live now. This is a real professional gig I've got going here. Doing well enough. Got my nature fix at Union Bay Natural Area. Saw several kinds of woodpeckers. Cool. I like going down there to the Union Bay Natural Area. So I'm just composing myself. Well, I've been thinking a lot today about what is practice. And because I was kind of talking about it last night. And I've been like listening to other people's ideas about what is practice, because, you know, my child is in the room. Okay, I think I'm getting settled down here. Hi, Steve. Thank you for sending me that video today, linking me to that video from the Agape Center. That was good. I listened to the whole thing. All right, the room is empty now. My cameras are set up. They're rolling. But yeah, back to practice. So I guess I think it's important to have a practice that in which you're working on techniques for focusing and stilling your attention, or bringing your attention to there's Jade. Hi, Jade. And so, you know, spirituality and religion, and I know they say Buddhism isn't a religion, but all of those things aside, to have a mindfulness practice, I think there needs to be a sustained period every day of practicing whatever the technique is that you are working on. And so, like, it could be a movement. You could include movement with that. So like yoga practice, and you know, you can always change and build on what you're doing, but seated meditation is kind of like the fundamental thing that we think of as being mindfulness practice. But a lot of people seem to have trouble with sitting in meditation. What I usually tell the guys in my classes in the prison is, can you do 10 minutes a day? And often they say they can, and then they don't, because they're human. Or sometimes they say they can't sit in meditation. And I mentioned this last night. And so other things could be a walking meditation, or putting yourself into positions like in yoga, where we do asana practice, where we put ourselves into like a laboratory where we study ourselves as we're putting stresses on our bodies and on our minds. But this is something I'm thinking about a lot, is practice and what is practice. So if anybody has anything to say about that, feel free. I was just thinking about, somebody was saying last night how hard it was to sit up tall. And, you know, I started doing this in the evenings, where it's more of a relaxing kind of meditation, where you would come onto your back or come into a comfortable position where you could really let go of your body and relax. But there is something to be said for sitting also. So I don't know if anybody who's watching right now has a regular seated meditation practice, but already, and maybe you're just hanging out here doing this because it's relaxing in the evening, or maybe it's the first time that you've ever experimented with any kind of meditation or mindfulness practice. But I'm kind of rambling right now, but maybe you could think about 10 minutes a day of sustained attentive practice. So this is going to come to an end at some point. And some of you have been here a lot. Yeah, it helps me too, Laura, to sit. It helps me to stay awake, and it helps me to focus as well. Although I do like meditating in bed, I discovered. Like right when I get in bed and I get myself ready and then I turn the light off, I like that 10 or 15 minutes where I'm still awake to be very mindful during that time. But anyways, so most of you are coming onto your backs for this, and you could do that now. You could come onto your back. Lori says she got a meditation pillow and it's helped me a lot. Yeah, I have to sit on something. I'm sitting on this. Whenever I'm doing this, I'm always sitting on this. Bolster puts my spine into a more comfortable neutral position, and it helps my hips and my knees be more aligned for comfort. So, and I think yoga, the practice of yoga, can really help prepare you for meditation, because it, for me, for years, I couldn't really sit until I had done yoga, because I needed to have that release of energy and get my body ready. So some people do better when they have some exercise first, and then of course there's first thing in the day when our minds are quieter. That's the time when people really, I think, get up and immediately spend time in your practice. That's a good time to do it, and it kind of sets the tone for the day. But lots of ways to go though. And I think it's like, this is something I see. I don't know if Christy, you're still here, but Christy, an old friend of mine from growing up, posted today about her inner voice, and she was kind of joking about it a little bit, how her inner voice was bossing her around. And I think we have to find a way to be like gently and lovingly, what's the word I want to use? Directing ourselves, or using our willpower in a loving way to get ourselves to do the things that we need to do for our own health. And this has been a time where our mental health has been challenged, and if we don't take care of ourselves, it can get bad pretty quickly. Especially if we have underlying mental health stuff that we haven't, that we're struggling with anyway. So that's what I was thinking about talking about during this meditation, was kind of our inner voice and how we can direct our inner voice to be, first of all, how we can notice it, and then how we can direct it to be, or work with it to be the kind of inner voice that helps us and is loving with us and kind to us and useful, rather than berating us and making us feel worthless and those kinds of things. So enough rambling. Come onto your back and allow yourself to just relax into your meditative position, whether that is on the floor or in your seat. So just bringing yourself into a greater stillness in your body, whether you're sitting or finding your way to your back, and taking whatever loving measures of attention you need to prepare yourself. So if that is covering the eyes or putting a pillow under your head or under your knees, you could do that. And then just keeping your breath really natural and relaxed, so you're not straining to bring in more breath or anything like that. Just kind of coaxing a little more completeness into your breath as you lay here now. So making the breath more full, like a more complete breath, inhaling and exhaling, in and out through your nose. And noticing the quality of your breath immediately, like what do you feel about your breath? Does it feel restricted in any way? Does it feel hard to take a deep breath? Does it feel easy, smooth, ragged? Just noticing. Sometimes when we get ready to sit and observe ourselves, we realize that we haven't really paid much attention to the breath. Hi, Christy. So this is a time where you might notice that inner voice. What is it saying to you about your breath? Like, it's easy to feel judgmental or to feel like you're not breathing well enough, or, having some kind of like feelings that are like your breath isn't good enough, or you're not a real meditator, or whatever comes up. So just noticing. And then just, like I said, just kind of coaxing the breath. So allowing the front of your chest to be wider and more open. And allowing the back of your body to be heavy, feeling the whole back of your rib cage against the floor. Noticing the places where the rib cage wants to pull away from the floor, and just imagining it to be very heavy and settled against the floor. And then relaxing your face. So feeling your entire face just kind of immediately soften. And then bring special attention to the places where you hold tension in your face, probably your jaw. So softening the jaw. You might, again, like last night, I talked about this kind of allowing yourself to salivate, or feeling like there's more saliva flowing in your mouth. So you might just relax the tongue. And feel the sides of your mouth, the cheeks, the insides of your cheeks softening. Relaxing the eyes. You could bring a small smile to your face. You could experiment with that. See if you can just kind of, rather than like actually forcing your mouth into a smile, you might just kind of let it soften into a smile, into a gentle smile. Like you have a secret, funny thing happening. So it's not like a lot of muscular effort to make the smile, just a little bit. And your eyes could smile also. So see if you can let your eyes smile. And as you're here and you're listening to my words, which are giving you ideas about what to do with your body and your breath, you might notice your own kind of direction that you're giving yourself, and what that kind of inner voice or that inner dialogue is saying to you at the same time you're hearing me talk to you. And let it be kind. Let it be like curious. like this person that you are, this true person that you are, your true self or your higher self is really allowing you to be just exactly how you are without any criticism or any harshness. Like you're a good enough meditator already. You're like, you don't have to be like doing something really special or perfect or just right. Like whatever you're doing right now with a sense of curiosity and openness is good enough. So there's some book or there's some psychologist who came up with the idea of the good enough mother. And the good enough mother is somebody who would not hover over her children too much and would not also abandon them. So the good enough mother would be in the same room with them while they were playing, but not directing them too much, allowing them to be creative and also not leaving and abandoning them. So they're being present. And so maybe you could kind of cultivate like this sense of the good enough mother to yourself. Like that inner voice of yours isn't too harsh. It's not unforgiving or unmerciful or unkind. And it's also not just abandoning you, like you're cultivating it. You are relying on that inner voice to help you. Like for me, during this time of quarantine and some emotional struggles, I have really worked on that inner voice to be able to talk myself through some challenging situations emotionally. Even today, I've had a kind of been brewing a migraine all weekend, which is something that happens to me monthly. And I know that it will pass. And I know that during the time that I'm dealing with the potential of a migraine, I need extra to give myself extra love. Yes, going for walks is a really good way to manage oneself, Lori, for sure. Yeah, like definitely I kick myself out of the house too. Like you just need to go outside and go for a walk and you will feel better. I promise you. I know you. I know your mood will change if you go for a walk. I mean, this is scientifically proven that exercise will make us feel better. We know this. And it doesn't have to be vigorous. It could just be going for a walk. And we know that sunshine and fresh air makes us feel better. There's a lot of things that we know can be almost instantly helping us. And so you might kind of think about that when you're going through a rough time, like the good enough mother to yourself. Your own inner mother, your inner voice, giving you some tough love here and there, but never being harsh or hovering over you in a way that is cruel or unkind, but also giving you a little like gentle, loving discipline when you need it. And I suppose that our inner voice is often a lot about what we heard when we were children from our own parents can be reflected in our own inner voice, or people who have nurtured us throughout the years, possibly even our partners. Or so sometimes we have to work on it. We got to work on it. cultivating it to be the kind of mother or father to ourselves that we want to have, maybe than the one we got. And we can also pull forward the good stuff from our parents, the times that even if they disappointed us or weren't there or weren't the good enough mother or whatever, that they did help us to learn how to be loving with ourselves just by their own loving examples. Sometimes it's grandparents or teachers or other people that we look to. So you might be super familiar with your own inner voice, or it might be not, it might be kind of a foreign concept. And sometimes it's very clear that you have a voice, like you're actually talking to yourself, and sometimes it's less, it's more abstract than that. So just checking in now with your breath, feeling the breath coming in and out through your nose. You might notice that your breath has changed since this began. And again, feeling your rib cage against the floor, in the back of your ribs, noticing if there's any sense that you can feel more of the rib cage touching the floor. And then just feeling the quality of your breath. Noticing if you've gathered any tension in your face or the front of your chest, and see if you can work again to soften that and release it. Feeling how your neck feels. Does it feel like there's any tension in your neck or throat that can be released? Is your head tilted off to one side? Can you straighten it out gently? Just noticing. And then you might feel like as you lay here in a more relaxed state, that your breath kind of washes things off of you, like layers of discomfort, emotional discomfort, or stress from the day, or sadness, grief, just kind of rolling off of you as you lay here. Just kind of dissipating, softening, and your body is kind of more whole underneath that, those layers. You have more access to that wholeness, to that sense of comfort in your own body. And some of that is just allowing your nervous system to have this time to settle and to be in this relaxed, resting state. Just taking a few more breaths into the stillness and the quietness of your body. And then if you're going to come back into your evening, maybe you could come back with this sense of comfort and relaxation in your face and your jaw, keeping your forehead relaxed. So just rolling onto your side when you're ready. You can stay right where you are, or you can come back to your seat if you're sitting on a cushion like I am. Just making your way up and keeping this whole sense of softness in your body. And finding your spine lengthening up. So feeling how you're grounding into your seat and lengthening up through the crown of the head. Keeping the front of your chest open. So there's still a sense that all of those layers of just the stuff that builds up on you during the day are kind of still staying off of you as you come up in this kind of more cleansed state, we'll say. And just take some nice, deep, balanced breaths in and out through the nose with your soft, relaxed face and jaw. And then you could bring your hands together at your heart. You could bow your head to your own practice, to your own inner teacher, your higher self, or your higher power. Namaste. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.